possible recession that the United States could enter at any moment has been a topic of interest to everyone involved or interested in the world of business, economics, and of course, finance. So, who joined the bandwagon this time and refused to give statements on the subject? Well, a trio of interesting and important characters. Let's start with Elon Musk, probably the most important name of the trio. The CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, he is also responsible and/or co-responsible for great inventions such as PayPal. A character so recognizable that his name is quite well known outside the financial world, and he is the richest man in the world today. Our next personage? Nouriel Roubini, a leading economics professor at New York University and chairman of the RGE Monitor consultancy. Another one of those voices that everyone on Wall Street listens to. And as for today's last character, more than a person, it is the statement of an entity. We are talking about Goldman Sachs Group, of whom we will speak on this occasion. One of the world's largest investment banking and securities groups. I'm sure I don't have to explain why their opinion is tremendously important in this world. We've already introduced all the people who will be joining us today, so we're ready to get started. If you've been paying attention to the financial world over the last few weeks, you will have heard about the warnings that have been issued to all of Wall Street's most vocal businessmen and personalities about a possible recession and inflation in the United States. Such well-known figures in the financial world as the controversial Ray Dalio and various Wall Street gurus have given their opinion on the subject without any filter. And for the most part, things are not looking good for one of the world's greatest powers, as even possibilities of civil wars have been mentioned, a pretty bold statement these days. In case you're not aware of any of these cases and statements, you might consider checking out our videos dedicated to the topic. We will leave them right here, as they will help you get into context. Of course, after watching this video. So, who jumped on the bandwagon this time and decided to talk about it? None other than three very important people that anyone interested in the world of finance should listen to. The world's richest man, Elon Musk, the most respected professor, Nouriel Roubini, and one of the biggest investment groups in existence, Goldman Sachs Group. Some of the strongest voices and firms on Wall Street have already decided to speak out about the possibility of a dark future, and of course, we listened to them and will share directly what they had to say. Musk's name is usually the main part of a headline, as he is the most recognizable. Even those with little or no interest in the business world know this. Naturally, the title of richest man in the world is not something that goes unnoticed, not to mention his presence and popularity on social media. We know that of all the people in this case, this is the one you're most interested in, so let's cut to the chase. Tesla CEO Elon Musk stated a few days ago that a recession in the United States seems quite possible in the very, very near future. The exact words the tech genius told Bloomberg during an interview were, quote, "A recession is inevitable at some point. As to whether that recession will come soon, most likely not."
In America is not inevitable. How do you feel about the economy?
Well, I think a recession is inevitable at some point. As to whether there is a recession in the near term, I think that is more likely than not.
We might think Musk's statements are not very detailed, but we have to respect that this decision at least doesn't give free rein to sensationalism to take his words out of context. Oh, and I'm sure a lot of people are relieved to know that Mr. Musk doesn't think we're in trouble, at least for a while. Well, whose statement will we discuss next? You'll get the answer right now. Let's talk about... Unlike Elon, the Goldman Sachs Group is not looking very hopeful, and a few days ago, they warned that the risk of recession is on the rise. Not everything may seem hopeful. The Goldman Sachs team sees a 30% chance of the US going into recession next year, an alarming figure given the last year the chances were only 15%. In the event that recession is avoided next year, the chance drops to 25% in 2 years, implying a cumulative probability of 48%. Goldman Sachs analysts ended up with increasingly worrying results, wrote a group of economists led by Jan Hatzius, the chief economist. We now see the risk of a recession as bigger and ready to hit us head on. In short, a group of the industry's most knowledgeable experts conducted a multitude of analyses, and their results gave us some pretty bleak figures. Oh, things don't look too good. Still, we have one more character to talk about. Come on, let's go through his statements. But before we talk about our last featured character of the day, I must ask that if you've made it this far and are liking today's content, why not leave a like so that the video can be recommended to more people? That way, others can reach out and explore the various videos on the channel. Ready for that thumbs up? Right, let's get on with it. For his part, Roubini, the man in charge of Roubini Macro Associates, expects a recession in the US to precede the end of this year. Consumer confidence, retail prices, manufacturing, and accommodation activities are slowing as inflation rises. In his television interview with Bloomberg, he simply said, quote, "We're getting closer." Few words and a somewhat vague yet powerful aside, because coming from this gentleman, they worry all the pundits. Still, we are not done yet, because one last and quite important character also gave some statements. Here we go. The Fed's rate hikes, Wall Street's losses, and the possibility of a recession have put a lot of pressure on the shoulders of a very important person who has finally decided to talk about it. We are talking about the President of the United States himself, Joe Biden. And what did Biden say? A few days ago, Biden spoke with the Secretary of State Larry Summers and came to the conclusion that a recession is not inevitable, even though he sees himself fighting stagflation. Alright guys, we're coming to the end of the video. If you've been following our channel or are simply interested in the financial world, you've probably already heard the many options and news about this looming recession. Still, more and more Wall Street figures and businessmen are voicing their opinions, and some are worried. Whatever the outcome, you can be sure we will be sure to keep you informed. Before we end the video, we would like to ask you a few questions. We would love to know your opinion on today's topic. Do you agree with Musk's optimism? Like Goldman and Roubini, do you think the recession is closer than it seems? Do you think Biden is just trying to calm the masses with his statements? Be sure to respond below in the comment box. That concludes today's video. Leave your comments on the video, and if you would like to see a specific topic addressed in the channel, you can also leave your suggestions below. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. See you next time.